Who gets to fuck you? Your friends or your boyfriend? When a friend F's me over, it hurts so much more than my boyfriend cheating on me. Having boundaries is only an issue for someone who wants to take advantage of you. That casual ability to just be free with your friends, you're like, okay, I trust you. Trust you enough with a capacity of a flow of information that I would hope that you would never betray that capacity of flow of information for some ungodly, basic reason. I don't have a financial investment in my friendship. I have a financial investment in my relationship.
You are now hearing Talks with Eriana, an original and engaging video podcast. Navigate love, relationships, and life, and subscribe right now. Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Talks with Eriana podcast. I'm your host, Eriana, and today we are going to be diving into relationships and life and love and friendships and everything in between. And I feel like this is going to be a really good discussion because we all have relationships in our lives and we all need some navigation or an external point of view of how to navigate these relationships. But before we get into that, let me tell you guys, I have had like a good week. You know when you have those weeks, they're good because you're successful, but they're odd because it's just like weird shit happens and it's just like, ugh, I'm just trying to live life and not die so soon, I should say. And like, can I just live my life? And it's just not happening. So today I was like, it was such a good day. Such a good day. I started out, I woke up, I went on a nice hike, and then I was like, wait, maybe my dog would like to be on a hike, right? Yeah, no, he's a prissy. Domino, he's over there somewhere. I think that's him right there. No, where are you? Oh, he's over there. But he's injured. Like, how do you get injured on a hike? It was literally a walk. He sprained his little paw somehow. And it's like, oh, I feel so bad for him. So he's like, ignore my bed. It's a mess right now because he's sleeping. And I was like, I don't want to like disrupt him. So I was like, let me just leave my bed as it is and let him rest. But he sprained his paw. And like, it was just a derailment of my day. And I was like, okay, on to the next. And then I texted my friend because last night, literally, not even last night, literally like an hour before he sprained his paw, I was like, oh, I want kids to my best friend. I was like, I want kids. I lived a life. I've traveled. I did a lot. And I just want to like have friends. And not friends, I want to have a family, and I'm ready to like do a family. And I had like this whole love thing happen to me today while I was on my hike. I was tying my shoe. This man literally ran into me, and his daughter, as we were walking away, she was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. You should go ask for her number. And then when I was like an hour later, when I was going back to my car, he stopped me and asked for my number, and he's totally my type. So I'm not going to text him. I'll wait till he texts me. But total, like, love story parent trap type of scene. So that happened. But, oh my God, I need to stop talking with my hands because I'm going to hit my microphone so many times. But yeah, he sprained his paw. And I told my friend, I was like, I want kids, literally an hour before he sprained his paw. And then he sprained his paw, and I was like, I don't want kids because kids are gonna be an inconvenience to my life. If my dog spraining his paw annoys me, like, how do you sprain your paw? Like, come on. But yeah, I was like, okay, maybe I don't want kids. That's a big responsibility. But he's doing better. He's good. He's getting through it, you know. Boom, 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 boom. But then also something weird happened to me this week. I went and paid off my Jeep. So I no longer have a car note, no longer have a car payment, no money coming out of my bank account. It was like the last like 10 grand of it. And I just was like, boom, there you go. Take it. I don't want any more interest. I don't want anything to do with you. And as soon as I walked into the damn teller, the bank, the teller, I guess she was like the head teller or something like that. I was like, I'm here to pay off my loan. And she like whipped her head so quick. It was like so quick. And she was like, do you want to get another loan with us? no, bitch. I'm paying off this one. Why would I want to get another freaking loan? Like, no, thank you. No, ma'am. And just the quickness that she said it with was just like, what? Like, do you not hear what I just said? I'm paying off one. I don't want another. I'm trying to live my life off of loans and credit cards. I don't want them. So I was just like, why would that be your first question? Why would that be your first question when someone says, I'm coming to pay off your loan? Like, go somewhere else. Go do your job. Don't worry. I was literally with another guy, and she was like over there, and she whipped her head. She's like, do you want to get another loan? No, ma'am. I don't want to buy another loan. I don't want to be responsible for another loan. I don't want to have to pay you guys every month. I want to be able to pay myself and live my life. I just paid you guys off, so leave me alone. But yeah, so today we are going to get into it. It is going to be for the ages because we're going to be talking about a really good topic. So backstory, my friend actually said this to me like months ago, and I always thought it was a good podcast topic, and I wanted to dive deep into it. I want to dive in and discuss it because it's true. Well, let's get to the title. Who gets to fuck you? Your friends or your boyfriend? And I think that's such a good title because honestly, who gets to fuck you? Not like that, but who gets to fuck you over more? There's like kind of a double standard in my life, as it was pointed out to me, how I hold my friends accountable and how I hold a man accountable that I'm seeing who I'm romantically involved with. And it's 100% true. I hold my friends to a higher standard versus my boyfriend. It's just what it is. And she pointed out to me. So I was like, this is a really good podcast topic. I've never like thought of it, but I do kind of hold people to different and everyone holds different people to different standards in their life. For some reason, I'm always held to a higher standard than most people, and it's annoying. But you know, I guess it comes with the territory of being a bad bitch. But yeah, it's true. It's 100% true. I hold my friends to a higher standard than my boyfriend or whoever I'm seeing at the time. So it's common to have different expectations and responses toward a romantic partner versus a friend. You're willing to overlook so many different things when it comes to a relationship, but you're not willing to overlook things when it comes to a friendship. And why is that? Why do we continuously have this need to protect our relationships rather than protect our friendships? There's definitely a double standard. There's definitely a need for a relationship versus a friendship in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases. Some women put their man on a pedestal and forget about all their friends. I don't do that. But when a friend F's me over, it hurts so much more than I would say my boyfriend cheating on me. Yeah, that hurts. That really does hurt. It sucks. But a friend effing you over in a way, like, I don't know. I feel like that hurts more. And I have more of a short fuse for that versus a boyfriend. I'm not saying that I would ever stay with someone who cheated on me, but I'm just saying there's a shorter fuse for my friends versus someone I'm romantically involved with. So when we think about like romantic relationships, I think we give more grace to our partners because of the stronger emotional connection that is emphasized when you're in a relationship. You want to preserve that relationship. You want to try everything you can do to make it work. And obviously sometimes, you know, plugs don't plug in forever. You got to pop them out. But it's definitely an emotional connection. It involves more of a deeper understanding of an individual versus a friendship. In a way that I think everything comes down to sex. Everything comes down to sex. I think when sex is involved, there's a different kind of ball game and rule book that people follow versus when sex is not involved. And it's the truth. It's the 100% truth. I feel like there's more tolerance for someone's imperfections when you're sitting there in a relationship. So those imperfections you can see on the daily, those imperfections you can hit on, those imperfections you can kind of navigate with when you're in a relationship, and kind of hope that someone fixes it, hope that someone loves you enough to change, hope someone loves you enough to physically just make the relationship flourish. So when you think of the romantic relationship, you're fearing the loss of something that could be potentially great. And that's another thing. We always fall in love with potential. I think everyone falls in love with the potential of a relationship versus the reality of a relationship. There may be an underlying fear of losing someone when you're sitting here giving them chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance to not screw you over, and then they continuously screw you over. So I definitely feel it's a fear of losing something. And for a lot of people, the biggest fear in life is being alone. The biggest fear in life is being in your old age and not having anyone to compatibly emotionally connect with. And that is a scary thought for anyone. Being alone and fearing the loss of a loved one, fearing the loss of a relationship, a romantic partner, is going to be detrimental. And it's going to allow you to have more grace for your romantic relationship, for your partner, for your boyfriend, for your girlfriend. So I think that's another reason as to why women, especially, give their men so much more grace, because it's a fear of a loss of something that is potentially great versus the reality of a situation. But that's another conversation between the potential and the reality of situations, because we so quickly fall in love in this love bombing stage. I think everyone has a love bombing stage. Love bombing is a stage. Yes, it can be detrimental, but I want to be love bombed. Like at the beginning, at all parts of the relationship, I want to be love bombed. I want to know you love me. I want to know you want to take care of me. You want to be with me. But love bombing is an extreme version of caring. It's an extreme version of caring to kind of manipulate a situation, to manipulate someone, to feel a connection to you and kind of a servitude to you. Love bomb me. Love bomb me throughout my whole relationship. I do not care. But some people, love bombing is not a thing. Don't do it to some people because it can cause issues. But when you're talking about losing someone and the fear of losing someone, it's difficult to maintain the relationship when you're fearing this loss. And maintaining a relationship sometimes means you're losing out on yourself. You're losing out on your boundaries. You're losing out on your priorities. You're losing out on this potential of maintaining a relationship that prioritizes this sense of security that doesn't exist. This sense of a security that just does not exist. It's minimizing any sort of conflicts. And that's why you're giving this person grace. They cheat on you. They call you names. They call you out your name. They seclude you from your friends. They don't keep up with plans. Like, these are things that are detrimental to a relationship. These are things that you cannot settle for in a relationship. And if you're maintaining those things and giving him chance after chance and chance after chance, when he uses those fuck-ups on you, it's literally trying to maintain bullshit. It's maintaining bullshit. It's overlooking certain behaviors, even if they're not ideal. And I think that's where boundaries come in. That is where boundaries come in. We need to understand that having boundaries is not an issue. Having boundaries is only an issue for someone who wants to take advantage of you. So have your boundaries, set your boundaries, and if your boundaries are strong enough and someone loves you and respects you enough, then those boundaries will never be crossed. They will navigate the relationship within what you need as a person. I'm not talking about extreme boundaries. I wanted to point this out too. I saw a post in Are We Dating the Same Guy? And this kind of, actually, we'll hold off on that. we're gonna hold off on that. It kind of goes into my conclusion, because it made me realize something, that certain people should not be in relationships if you're not ready to be in relationships, if you get what I'm saying. But we'll hold that off until the end point. Yeah, so maintaining a unhealthy relationship is not positive. It's detrimental. And this is why we let men walk all over us, because we're trying to maintain the potential of a relationship. And even if the relationship, I'm not talking about relationships that are necessarily excruciatingly, painfully, emotionally, or physically. I'm talking about relationships that are good. I'm talking about relationships that have communication, that have connection. I'm talking about relationships that you're like, okay, this is great, but this person is doing too many things, and I'm letting them get away with too many things that not necessarily aren't ideal, and I need to fix this, and he needs to fix this for us. Another issue is jealousy or insecurity. Jealousy and insecurity are going to play a huge role in your ability to maintain a relationship, let alone giving a boyfriend or a significant other plenty of chances to fix their behavior without them fixing their behavior. So jealousy, in a sense that you're jealous of your boyfriend when he spends time with his friends, when he's leading you to overlook his behaviors. This is kind of jealousy in a sense, like, okay, I don't want anyone to have this, even though there's ideal factors, there's not ideal factors in this relationship. I don't want anyone else to have access to this person. It's kind of a possessive quality in a sense as well. And it comes from a state and a nature of comfortability. And we get so comfortable in life. So why would I ruin this comfortability, even though it's not ideal? Why would I ruin this comfortability and this relationship that's not horrible, but not ideal? But we can work on it. We can not work on it. We can get through and look past certain things. So when you think of it that way, the jealousy and the insecurity of all, it's kind of just like otherwise just, once again, setting things to the side because you're trying to maintain the potential of a relationship versus the actual reality of a relationship. We need to understand that potential and reality are two different things, and it's hard to differentiate when you're inside of a relationship. It's extremely hard to differentiate. That's how you say it. And I think we hold friends to higher expectations. We love our significant others. We love our husbands. We love them, obviously. But I think there is a higher sense of expectations when it comes to friendships, and that's why there is a shorter fuse when it comes to friendships versus relationships. I think we confide in our friends so much, so it hurts so much more when a betrayal happens. So if you're friends with someone, you have to understand that the betrayal will hurt 40 times more than the betrayal of a boyfriend. I'm not talking about a husband in this sense, because when you're married for however God knows however long, a betrayal will hurt. A betrayal will crush you. A betrayal will have you walking through mud and having to rebuild and re-pick up the sticks and stones and build your own life again. Build trust in your relationship if you decide to stay with him. But in a friendship, it hurts so much more than a boyfriend. I feel like when a friend betrays you, it's just, it just hurts. And many people don't have the capacity to deal with bullshit. Fake friends. Like, fuck fake friends. We don't have the capacity to deal with fake friends. We have a greater freedom of expression with our friends, in our friend groups, with our best friends. It's more comfortable and empowering to express your disapproval about your relationship, about other people, about work dynamics, about any other relationship dynamic than it is to sometimes discuss that and express that with your boyfriend, your significant other, or your partner. It's more casual, it's more free. And when you have that casual ability to just be free with your friends, you're like, okay, I trust you. That is the word, trust. I trust you with these secrets, with these words, with every bit of expression that I'm expressing to you. I trust you enough with a capacity of a flow of information that I would hope that you would never betray that capacity of flow of information for some ungodly, basic reason. And when those reasons hit, like such as a promotion or such as going after money or going after another man, when those things hit, the betrayal hurts so much more. So much more. Because you confided in this person. You confided. As a friend, I know my friends' boundaries, right? I understand where they are in life. I understand what they want in life. I understand how to navigate their relationship with myself. I understand these factors. And I feel like it's easier to discuss these factors with friends because there's no expectations of romantic relationships. So who gets to fuck you? Your friend or your boyfriend? Your boyfriend. And sex always convolutes everything in a relationship. Oh my God, like I said, I need to stop talking with my hands. I'm hitting my microphone. But clear boundaries, a greater freedom of expression, and I think there's to a point a lack of emotional investment in a friendship. I think you can invest in a friendship, no doubt. You can invest in a friendship, no freaking doubt. But I think there's a lack of emotional investment in a friendship. So when we say a lack of an emotional investment, it's the emotional investment that might be less intense than a romantic relationship. So you're willing to let things go in a romantic relationship because you're invested emotionally in that person to a higher degree than a friendship you're emotionally invested into as well. I feel like the lack of emotional investment tends to really hit home when you're not emotionally invested in a friendship. You're here because it's casual. You're here because you're able to be free and express your deepest, darkest opinions. Like we all express deep, dark opinions with our friends versus our relationship. And yes, you should have a friendship in your relationship with your partner, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend. I'm not saying that there's not a friendship there, but I think there is a higher degree of self-expression in a friendship versus a relationship. I think we try and fit into boundaries in a relationship where that tolerance is maybe not as high as a friendship. That tolerance in a relationship really just kind of gets pushed out of the way versus a friendship, for my own personal being as well. I don't have a tolerance for bullshit. I don't have a tolerance for betrayal. I don't have a tolerance for someone shit-talking me. I don't have a tolerance. It's energy. That's draining energy out of me for having to deal with that. So why am I going to deal with that in a relationship and a friendship? You know what I'm saying? I love my man, right? I love my relationship and I love my friendship. But in the long run, my relationship is supposed to get me to a destination in life where I am secure and in love and happy with a person who I am romantically and emotionally invested in, versus a friendship where it's casual, where it's very much kiki, where it's very much let's be surface level, right underneath surface level. I think friendships go deep, 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 and relationships go deep. If you understand what I'm saying. So there's definitely a tolerance in certain behaviors that might be overlooked in a romantic context because you want something to work out, versus a friendship, it's easier to cut off. It's easier to say, bye, see you later. Like, you don't respect me. You don't respect me enough to, you don't respect our friendship enough to act in proper ways, to move in certain ways. So goodbye. It's easier to cut that off versus a romantic relationship. I mean, in a romantic relationship, there's a lot of financial stability involved as well. When you're in a romantic relationship, there are so many factors like financial stability that is a factor in letting someone get away with certain things versus a friendship. I don't have a financial investment in my friendship. I have a financial investment in my relationship. I don't have a financial investment in my friendships because I'm not building anything with them other than trust and companionship. In my relationship, I'm building trust, companionship, I'm building a life. We may have kids, may want kids. There is so many things that we can kind of let go, let slide in a romantic relationship versus a friendship. And as well as you have to think of a desire for fairness. I think in any relationship you want fairness, but when you're in a relationship, you also discuss roles that you guys will both be having in that relationship, whether it's discussed or naturally progresses into those roles. Those roles become fair because you're either allowing it to happen or discussing the roles and allowing those roles to take place and taking your place in your relationship. Versus a friendship, I think there is a standard of fairness, of just respecting each other as friends and respecting each other's confidentiality. That is a big word in friendships. Confidentiality. What I say to you cannot be said to anyone else, and what you say to me will not be said to anyone else. So when you're in a friendship that goes emotionally deeper in regards to compatibility, in regards to just being there, yes, in a sense, then boom, we have friendship. We have actions that will break a friendship versus actions that won't break a relationship. So in conclusion, like, you have to understand the differences is how you respond to your boyfriend and friends likely stem from varying dynamics, emotional connections, and expectations associated with each relationship type. But it is important to be aware of these differences and to communicate your boundaries and expectations in both types of relationships to ensure healthy and fulfilling interactions. But that's my conclusion. So I did want to hit on something. We all, in a lot of our cities, have this page on Facebook called Are We Dating the Same Guy? I'm not going to go into detail in regards to the story. I'm just going to have a little snippet here. But she went on a date with a guy for the first time, and she literally had an interaction with this man that made her feel uncomfortable. And I don't know if she set her boundaries with this man until after what happened. But what happened was this man may have grabbed her in a way that triggered something from her past, some trauma from her past. And after the fact, she posted a text thread on the Are We Dating the Same Guy page saying that, kind of just not saying that, but she displayed and said to this man after what had happened through a text that her boundaries are don't touch my wrist, don't grab my wrist. Like, these are boundaries that I have. And the way that the post was, she was coming off very demeaning. Like, don't touch me. Don't do anything to me. But how would anyone know not to do this to you? You know what I'm saying? This is why I feel like not everyone is ready for relationships. You can't expect people to know your boundaries. You can't expect people, especially dating on the internet, you can't expect people, it's a different breed on the internet. You can't expect people to respect you. People on the internet are living in a fantasy world. People on the internet that you're dating and seeing and meeting for the first time are meeting you for predominantly one reason, and that's sex. You need to understand that if you're dating in the internet world, in the e-world of Meet Me and Tinder, you have to understand, and I've come to understand this, men on there usually are not looking for relationships. Men on there are usually looking for an opportunity to have easy access to sex. And I can get that. I can tell you that from experience, because 95% of the men I've met on dating apps really just, it was sexual talk all the way through. Am I saying I didn't have sex with a lot of them? Wait, that makes me sound like a whore. Wait, listen, you gotta kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. But it's true. It's on God honestly true. I'll talk about my last fling, because I don't want to call it a relationship, one of my last flings. And I was seeing him, and the first night he said, I want this, and all of our morals are aligning. All of what we want is aligning. And 3, 4 dates in, I haven't had sex with him yet, and all of a sudden everything changed. Those morals that he stated on the first date of ready to have a life, ready to have kids, ready to start a family, ready to maybe even move someplace, ready to just do all the things that a relationship would lead to a marriage, and a marriage would lead to a lifetime partnership. All those things he stated on the first date changed 4 dates in, when I was not giving him sex. So you have to understand, men are sexual creatures, and I'm not saying it's their worst aspect, or what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not their worst attribute. I mean, we're all humans, we're all sexual creatures. Sex comes to all of our minds, but men prioritize sex over your emotional well-being, and you have to really date and vet these men. You have to really date and vet these men in a way where you're holding off. What's that rule? Oh my God. It's a movie. It was a movie. Like the 90-day rule or something like that. Like no sex for 90 days, 3 months. And then if he kind of lasts the 3 months, then maybe he's going to be good in regards to, if he lasts 3 months without sex with you and he's actually trying to get to know you, literally just don't have sex on the first date. Don't have sex on the first date. If you're trying to find a relationship, go to my 0-100 rule, and you'll find yourself none other than an amazing high value man. But on your first date, on your first date from a dating app, you cannot expect gentlemen. You just can't. You can expect liars, you can expect cheats, you can expect people who won't respect your boundaries because they don't know your boundaries. You can expect just weirdos off online dating, and that's coming from a place of experience. So to this woman who had her wrist grabbed, I don't think you were in the right to post that on the Are We Dating the Same Guy, because A, it was a date from online, B, you didn't set your boundaries prior to your meeting with him, C, after he texted you and you said your boundaries, you were a complete bitch, and C, if you're not emotionally developed, if you're not if your trauma isn't remedied to a certain extent, you should not be dating. And this goes for a man and a woman. You should not be dating if you have not trauma remedied yourself, or at least in the process of trauma remedying yourself, because you need to be able to understand that other people don't know your boundaries. It's up to you to respect your triggers and know your triggers and say, okay, I'm taking myself out of this situation. Thank you guys for listening to a brand new episode of the Talks with Eriana podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, because you don't want to miss out on more episodes of Talks with Eriana. They are brand new every Monday at 8 a.m. and we're gonna get into all these conversations. But I wanna hear what you guys have to say. I wanna hear what you guys have to say in regards to holding your friends accountable versus holding your man accountable. I wanna know why or who you hold accountable more. Do you let your boyfriend get away with things, or do you let your friends get away with things? Do you cut off friendships easily? Do you cut off relationships easily? What's your experiences? Drop them down below because we want to know. Thank you guys for joining, and I will catch you guys on the next new episode of Talks with Eriana. Bye.